So many women of color go through all of these things because we were taught to behave in a specific way or move in a specific way, or not want to offend anyone, or not seem like the angry Black woman, or not seem like a diva or a bitch. This is also for the people that every year you're wishing that you could leave your 9 to 5. Every year you're wishing that you can start this business and grow it. Every year you want to do big things, but you keep getting stuck. Those things are honestly internal, and I really, really, really want you to think about what I'm saying. Today, I want to talk about things that hold us back in business, right? So this is a business chat, basically. Let's talk about confidence in business and my journey with confidence in business, right? When I think about confidence, it's such a beautiful word. It's something that I used to Google when I was around 22 years old because I just did not know how to be confident. I couldn't seem to put my finger on it. That's why it's something that I really love teaching on now, because I know my journey with confidence. I had none, flatline, like no confidence at all. It was something that I really had to learn how to develop over the past few years, right? Although that word has different meanings to me now in this day and age, here's a few things that I went through to show me, hey, you need to work on your confidence. For example, I used to be so not confident or uncomfortable talking about what I'd accomplished, or while I was accomplishing it, or even when I had really big wins in business or in the online space, I would never share them. Just no wins. I would not share any wins at all. And I'm still working on sharing my wins and embracing what I've accomplished and things like that. So one reason why I wouldn't share about my accomplishments is my fear of rubbing people the wrong way or feeling like what I accomplished was too small. This is how it impacted me. I had to realize that my feeling was just a feeling. No one is being rubbed the wrong way. No one is hating on me for my accomplishments. I was actually hating on myself. And it came from something that I was taught when I was younger or as a child, right? And I understand this now because I've been in deep therapy. So in my anxiety video, which I'll link somewhere around here, I talk about just how I had to really process lots of things in my childhood. So this was one of the things that I processed because I was going through really bad anxiety. And I speak about all of that in that video. But therapy helped me to really understand my past. A lot of my childhood I blocked out of my usual day-to-day for the past, like, I want to say 15 years, because my childhood was really traumatic and painful, and I had to just be an adult my whole childhood in order to protect myself, right? More than likely, it was a reaction of never celebrating myself or my wins because I was thinking they weren't a big deal, or they weren't anything, like, who cares kind of thing. And so when you're a business owner, some of the things that I'm going to talk about really can make or break your progress or your success. I feel like I'm talking about this now because we just got done with an amazing Think in Color, which is a summit or a conference that I do at Thinkific annually. And man, this year was just so different and so big, and maybe I'll dig into why at some point. But that happened, and then I have a documentary coming out on my business journey pretty soon. Lots of things this year really forced me to sit down and look at my accomplishments and start getting comfortable in thinking, wow, I've really done that. Wow, I've really done that. And not compare it to anyone else's accomplishments, or not compare it to just things that are going on in the online space, because that can be a thing. But it came from me not embracing any of this, came from being a kid. And as a child, I would do well on a test. So let's say, for example, I got a 92 on my test. I would get asked what happened to the other 8%, right? So that didn't allow me to celebrate, right? Another thing was I would constantly be compared to other people, or people that were doing better than me, or kids that were doing better than me. And so when you're growing up and you're being told all of these things all the time, and trust me, it wasn't My parents didn't know better. And honestly, they were raising me like they were taught to be raised. So it's not anybody's fault. And like I said, this is just one of the things, right? And you probably went through this too, or you're probably processing something like this too. So I definitely want to share. And if you have, definitely share in the comments. So being told those things, when I was a kid, they didn't feel good, but I didn't understand how it would affect me in adulthood. And the crazy thing is, these kinds of things happen and people still expect you to grow up being a strong, amazing adult. And so what that leads to, even in creators or creatives, is that we tend to hide the things that we've created or accomplished because we're always thinking about improving it and trying to make it perfect. The other day I was talking to my assistant and we were having our weekly meeting, and I was telling her about this amazing idea I had, and oh my gosh, I can't wait to even share this idea with you guys pretty soon. But it's a really affordable membership that we're launching, because I feel like these are the conversations that we need to have, but I want to dig deeper with the women who are feeling stuck and unsupported and afraid, really based on my experience and what I've been able to do over the past few years in getting over things like that, or even navigating them even when they were unknown. I want to share with women how you can do that too. But we were exploring this whole membership. I was so excited, and I was telling her the concept of what we were going to do for the freebie or lead magnet, or what we wanted to give away for free to people at first. And in telling her the concept, I started looking in my school, which is the Start, Shoot, Grow Academy, and I started trying to find a video. And then I realized that I had previously created a full course about all of this stuff, right? And I had so many courses in my school that I just never released or never shared. And I realized that it was connected to perfection. So I found a course that I created 4 years ago, full-blown course. Everything is already written out. Everything is already curated. Everything is already there. It's just for someone to take it. And the information is still so relevant for today, right? And I realized that I never released it. And I thought about my past self 4 years ago, like, CayLi, why didn't you release this? And it's because I'm sure I thought it wasn't good enough or it wasn't perfect enough. So now I am really learning to celebrate myself and speak more of my accomplishments and not think about how anyone else receives it, which is pretty hard, right? That's pretty difficult. But now let's talk about how this showed up in my business even more. I'm going to share a few points with you that's going to give you some good context. So the first way that I want to talk about is that I wasn't able to see my value at all when it came to what I was doing in business when I first started. And this even continued on when I started accomplishing even bigger things. Because if you stay in that space, then guess what? That's going to keep on keeping you back. Another way was I wouldn't ask for testimonials from my students or from clients, because even though they got amazing results and I was seeing those results that they were getting, and they would send me like the results that they were getting, especially getting on camera and being confident, being able to sell or making a certain amount of money after a course launch, like all of the things, like even clients who I built their full-on school and suite, and I still communicate with them today. I just was not asking for testimonials in the beginning. And even though they did get amazing results, I felt not them, not the person, I felt like they could have been better results, even though that they got what was promised and even more. And I'll talk about that even more pretty soon. The other thing, number 3, I would say, is I constantly compared myself to others in my industry, because when you're younger, and I grew up in the Caribbean for some context, your parents are always comparing you to the neighbor's kid or somebody else's kid or somebody else's child. And when you grow up and you take that in, you will always feel like you have to fight to be seen, right? You have to fight to be recognized, or you just start making up stories about yourself in your head, right? Or even if you're not making up stories, you're continuing the stories that you were told about yourself. And we have to be so careful about what we take in, or what we have taken in, and really undo those. I do a lot of rewriting. I'll rewrite that thought that I've been playing in my head forever. So I constantly compared myself to others in my industry. And another way it affected me was finding myself hiding in rooms that I'd worked incredibly hard to be in. So I'd be in rooms that I'd worked so hard to be in, and I would completely shut down. And so that was really, really, really hard. Trust me, I'm telling you about these things so that you can look out for them. But these are things that I'm still navigating, still understanding, you know. Another thing, I feared making other people uncomfortable with my accomplishments if I spoke about them. So I would hide them because I would constantly think about, oh my gosh, what if I seem too braggadocious or seem too big or seem too I'd rub someone the wrong way, like I was talking about myself. And so I would hide everything that I was accomplishing, like, and even like I was telling my dad the other day that I don't even send him articles or places that I'm featured or anything like that, because nobody wants to hear that. That's what I'm telling myself, right? And it's funny because it's when my community started celebrating with me, I started understanding, hey, I need to celebrate these things too. When you start celebrating yourself, you can celebrate other people even more abundantly, you know? And it's reciprocity. I don't know if that makes sense, but man, a lot of times we don't celebrate other people because we don't celebrate ourselves. It's kind of like you have to love yourself to love other people. And so when you are on a business journey, it's a self-awareness journey. And a lot of people aren't willing to do the work to be self-aware or to heal from things that we've gone through. And so that's where lots of people get stuck in business. Another thing is I used to have less grace for others because I put the standards that I was taught on everyone else. So I'd see someone do something, and this was early in my business journey. I would be like, oh, well, how am I supposed to buy from you if your website doesn't look XYZ? And I had to really catch myself because someone can have a beautiful website and what they're offering is trash.
This is trash.
Honestly, like let's be honest. So, you know, me thinking, oh, you know, I have to buy from someone who has XYZ or looks XYZ, or, you know, those things are not necessarily true. And I had to understand that by buying from people that I felt like, well, this product or service is supposed to be great. And it wasn't. It was about the results. So that's why we have to look for results. We have to look at what people are doing. Look at how other people are speaking about people. Like, I started to understand that you have to have grace for others. And honestly, some people pour into, which is the correct way to test your business, try different things, because we think about it in the opposite way. Like, everything has to look good and then people will buy from you. No, you can start scrappy and then improve with your profits as you start building your business, right? So I can see so many mistakes I made in business when I first started, and I can really pull those out as lessons and really understand the things that I did wrong and come share with you. And this is the beauty of the journey. I've been on this journey for over a decade, guys. All of the things that I'm sharing are things that I just want you to think about if you're doing any of these things. In your journey, you have to really, and I honestly think so many women of color go through all of these things because we were taught to behave in a specific way or move in a specific way, or not want to offend anyone, or not seem like the angry Black woman, or not seem like a diva or a bitch. Listen, there are things that you need to start working through as it pertains to your business. And this is also for the people that every year you're wishing that you could leave your 9-to-5. Every year you're wishing that you can start this business and grow it. Every year you want to do big things, but you keep getting stuck, or you keep feeling like no one is going to buy your product or service, or you're afraid. Those things are honestly internal. And I really, really, really want you to think about what I'm saying. That is connected to some kind of childhood trauma or something that you went through, and you really, really need to seek help for it. I don't want to ramble on too long. Maybe we can continue this conversation in the comments. Let me know what you guys think about what I'm saying, or if these things are something that you feel like you struggled with, or you're going through specifically. I hope that I wasn't too long-winded here, or I didn't ramble too much, but I'm really passionate about these kinds of topics, and I feel like it's directly connected to business. So I just wanted to do a really quick business chat with you guys. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do, because I would love to know more about you in the comments, and I want you here on this journey with us as we grow together. All right, guys, I love you, and I will talk to you soon. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if it was helpful, only if it was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.